Okay, right. We are back. It's the latest edition of the Startercast. This week it is myself, John, and over there we have Dean. So Gary and Jimmy are away this week. Gary's somewhere on holidays, and Jimmy's on a train. So we've got Dean, and we had as per usual lately. We've had an agenda coming into this, and as we're coming into this, news is dropping. The news today is Liam Rosenior is after getting sacked. Probably not surprising. Maybe it is a little surprising. Who knows? But the man was out of his depth. So what we've got is Wolves are officially relegated. Burnley very soon to follow, probably tonight, tomorrow, depending on when you're listening to this. When they play City, when they lose to City, they're also officially relegated. So we're going to have a look about the Wolves situation. We're going to talk about obviously about Chelsea because they got battered. It was actually embarrassing against Brighton. And then we're going to look at the week 34 fixtures. And maybe, depending on how time goes, we'll have a look at the juggernaut, which is Pep Guardiola's Man City. There's a lot in there.
Yeah, I suppose the breaking news is Rosenior.
We just dive straight into that, will we? Because the actual fuck.
Yeah, just I mean the wrong appointment to start with. Anyway, I know that he was decent with Holder last season or the season before. He's been having a good season with Strasbourg, but just completely out of his depth. That combined with a relatively toxic dressing room, I would imagine, and a completely incompetent board. You got to wonder who would be successful there, but it would take a very big personality to straighten things out. And Rosenior, as much as he tried to make himself out to be a big personality in press conferences, pushing back on journalists and that, you just couldn't imagine him having much of an edge to him in the dressing room to get respect, that the likes of an Ancelotti might get, or a Jose Mourinho, or a Pep, or a Klopp might get.
None of them are names on the list, by the way, which is even funnier. But I don't even know where to start with this because myself and the lads were having the chat last night. Myself and yourselves were also having the chat last night after the Brighton game going, surely. But I think the consensus was with the FA Cup semi or quarter final this weekend and like 5 league games left, they might just let him see out the season and then he's going to get canned. So whatever happened in that dressing room last night is not good. Like Cucurella has said he wants out. Enzo obviously got a 2-match ban by the club because he said he wants to go to Madrid. Cucurella's barber had the fucking lineup yesterday, so everybody knew at lunchtime Cole Palmer and Joe Pedro are out. That's Garnacho is obviously a disgrace to any badge he wears. Like there's no good stuff. And funnily enough, what I wanted to talk about tonight was because I wrote this. I'm going to call it a brilliant article because I am completely biased. But the PSR rules are being changed this summer, and they're being changed to this thing called System and Sustainability and Systematic Resilience, so an SSR rating. Chelsea are in shit. So they're the team under the most strain. So I'll get into this just briefly, right? And we'll get back into the manager's things. It kind of shows how bad of a state Chelsea are. So their revenue with the Club World Cup and Champions League last season, 600 million in revenue, wage bill of about 350 to 390, depending on the source that you take, transfer spend of north of 1.5 billion. So basically, what they're looking at is they recorded recently the highest recorded pre-loss or pre-tax loss in the history of football. 262 million of pre-tax revenue loss. Yeah, it's crazy. Or you can by the UEFA numbers, it's 355. So essentially, what we're looking at here is if they don't reach Champions League this summer, they have to make up the bones of 160 to 200 million in revenue this summer.
And where do they find that? What players do they have? I mean, that could be the likes of Cole Palmer, then.
Enzo Cole Palmer, Cucurella, Liam Delap, Garnacho.
Estevao, even though he's going to miss the World Cup, he's still probably one of their most promising players since maybe Cole Palmer.
So
yeah,
I looked into these numbers deeper. Do you know where it gets mental?
Yeah.
The reason why they've been spending the way they've been spending over the last few years and the way they've been doing the contracts the last few years, one, aimed under PSR. Two, it's based on future revenue. So they're basically taking what you'd call a stock market gamble. And this company in America has invested to the tune of 20% of the stock shares in the club under the Blue Co. Arsenal. So what happens here is they actually start taking control of the club based on levers if the club fails to reach targets. Now, these targets are based on future potential profits. And when a club is losing 260 million in pre-tax loss, you're looking at in 5 years' time, is that going to be a pre-tax profit? Is it? Fuck. Like, so this club could start, this ownership group in America could start chipping away at the ownership of the Blueco group over the next couple of years. And the only piece of the puzzle that was in the major piece of the gamble is on match day revenue, aka rebuilding or replacing Stamford Bridge by 2030. We're 4 years away from that. They have no planning permission. They haven't even looked at it. So essentially, Blueco are going to end up having to hand over this club to what we call them a loan shark company, essentially, in the States. Like, the way they've been running the background, the way they've been running the foreground, it's all nuts. And then when you hire a Liam Rosenior, like Enzo Maresca needed to get sacked. Their discipline issue was off the charts. Like, they were averaging a red card every 3 games. They were extremely messy, and he needed to be sacked. So to replace him with Liam Rosenior, whose career highlights is playing for Hull City. What? Hull City as a manager and Hull City as a player, Strasbourg as a manager. Did anybody think this was going to? Who the fuck thought this was going to be good?
And on top of giving him a fucking 7-year contract or 6-year contract, was it?
Yeah, 6.5-year contract.
Just boggles the mind. I mean, they even said in their club statement that, as the club works to bring stability to the head coach position, we will undertake a process of self-reflection to make the right long-term appointment. I mean, yeah, you really do need to have a bit of reflection, because as soon as that announcement came out, everybody and their man who wasn't even a soccer fan was saying, why are you giving the man a 6-year fucking deal? I mean, Pep Guardiola doesn't. Has Pep Guardiola ever gotten a 6-year fucking contract in his life?
3.
3 is the max?
3.
I mean, just baffling decisions made by the board between these long-term player contracts and then that. It just boggles the mind. And did you know what? The backroom staff hasn't even been sacked yet. We don't know how long their contracts are. Your man Callum McFarlane is coming in as a head coach.
It's crazy. The more you dig into this, the worse it gets. So, like, Casillo's on an 8-year contract. Enzo's got 7 years left on his contract. Delap has 6 years on his contract. They want him out. Garnacho has 6 years on his contract. They want him out. They've already listed 7 players for sale in the summer. This is before they even know if they're in Champions League or not. Like, there's a genuine risk here that if they do not get Champions League football, they're hoping that Aston Villa win the Europa League. Because if Chelsea do not get European football next year in the top table, they could be looking at a lead situation where in 5 years' time they're in the Championship because they just can't sustain themselves. This is the more you look into this situation, the more you go, oh my god, what have?
As well, it's not going to be an easy summer of them trying to get a manager, because you've got United who are looking for a manager. Now they might keep on to Carrick, whatever. But you have United who are shopping around for managers. You're going to have Chelsea shopping around. I know there was reports during the week saying that Liverpool will stick with Arne Slot, but only last week Chelsea board said they were sick with Rosenior. So, there's still a few games left in the season. Liverpool could change their mind. And if Arsenal go on to bottle it, there's 1 season left in Arteta's contract. Do they, let him play out his contract, or do they say it's time to go and you brought us as far as we think you can go? You could have literally the top 5 clubs in England all looking for a manager.
There's rumours that if the 115 hammers to fall on City in the summer, Pep might go out with a domestic treble if they do end up turning the league around. So you could have City, Arsenal, Manchester United, Chelsea, Newcastle, Bournemouth, Fulham, Crystal Palace,
or Bournemouth. They signed a new manager, didn't they? But still, Crystal Palace, like you said, another one. Etihad was kind of like under the cost at the moment that Newcastle is just.
Marco Silva's contract is up in the summer at Fulham. There could potentially be 12 managerial changes in the summer. Like, this could be the biggest. It's not a market you want to go manager shopping.
Crazy. Yeah.
I have odds. Would you like to hear some odds of who's next up at the Chelsea board?
Go on.
Okay, so the favourite currently is a man called Felipe Luis. You probably have never heard of Felipe Luis.
No, I don't think so.
So Felipe Luis was the manager of Flamenco, who got sacked as the manager of Flamenco for interviewing for the Chelsea job when they gave it to Liam Rosenior.
Jesus Christ.
So they didn't appreciate him flirting with a European club in the middle of their season, so they sacked him. So he's currently the favourite. After him is Cesc Fabregas. Why he would do it is I don't. He's having a good time in Como.
Yeah.
He's building his reputation. Go to Chelsea now. He has seen people like Frank Lampard do it and have their careers massively curtailed. So why would he? Third favourite, Oliver Glasner. Glasner's third. Glasner. He's third. Third favourite for the Chelsea job. Gary O'Neill.
I go Glasner over O'Neill.
Gary O'Neill is currently the Strasbourg manager, who replaced Rosenior. After that, you've got De Zerbi, Marco Silva, Unai Emery, Iriola, Frank Lampard again for some reason, Fabian Hertzler, and then way down the list, Xabi Alonso. There's nobody on that list that strikes me with confidence.
Yeah, no, not much confidence. But if I was going to pick any of them, maybe Glasner. I suppose Premier League experience, did pretty well at Palace. And like you said, Fabregas, why he would go, no, give him another few years. Second on the list you said was...
So Luis Fabregas,
second. Yeah. I would be looking at Glasner.
Marco Silva, Unai Emery, Iriola, Lampard, Hertzler, and Xabi Alonso. I could see it being Hertzler from Brighton. I wouldn't be surprised if it's Glasner, Iriola. I wouldn't be surprised if Iriola had left Bournemouth with this in mind. I know the Bilbao job seems to be the one floating around a lot. The Madrid job seems to be floating around a lot. But would you be surprised if he was already sounded out for this, and with Chelsea's financial situation that they needed someone on the free market rather than someone on the contract? I don't know. Like five losses in a row. Just give it.
Yeah.
5 losses in a row. 7.5 hours without a goal. 5 losses without scoring a goal. It's their worst record since the Titanic sank. They were in a driving seat for Champions League, and now they're out of the positions completely. And with the way the table is right now, if they lose their next game and everybody below them wins, the likelihood of that is slim to none, let's be honest. They could end up next week in 12th.
Yeah.
That's how tight the Premier League table is. If Fulham are in 12th right now and they're 3 points behind Chelsea, this is how tight that pocket is. From a team that, what was it, a month ago, they were 10 clear in third?
Yeah.
They're out of the Champions League positions now, and they could easily finish in the bottom half if things don't improve massively.
I think, what is it, 1 in 8 wins, and that one was against Port Vale in the last FA Cup.
Yeah, it was against Port Vale.
Yeah, it's just... when United were in the depths with Amorim, I don't think we experienced form this bad. It's just shocking how much went down. And no harm, the man, you have your man with his haircut at United trying to wait until they win 5 games in a row, and Rosenior actually won his first 6 games in a row at Chelsea.
Yep.
It all looked like peaches and cream, and there's only so much a man can do with that kind of a squad and that kind of backroom, so.
I think the squad is fine. Do you know what? There's a few players in there that I'm a big fan of. I watched Enzo Fernandez last night. There's something about him I actually quite like. There was a video of him standing in front of the Chelsea away end and getting it in the net, and he stood there alone. All the rest of the players had gone down the tunnel. The manager had gone down the tunnel, and he just stood there and he took it.
Yeah, he did. Yeah.
Credit to him. He's a fella who clearly has. Do you know what? Maybe it's an Argentinian thing. It's even if it's not about the team, it's about his personal pride, and his pride is stung right now. And he's looking at obviously potentially moving to Madrid in the summer. Hopefully for himself, moving to Madrid in the summer. Himself, João Pedro, Cole Palmer, they're probably the only 3 players in that dressing room I think who can hold their head high this season. Full stop. The backline is a mess. You know it's bad when one of the owners is in some Geneva conference during the week, and the sentence he delivered was, I think we're behind Rosenior. We know we have purchased too young in the transfer market. It's all well and good knowing that you bought it. How are you going to fix it? And his answer was, we will be reviewing in the summer and making better decisions. That's not really, that's a politician's answer.
Yeah.
Not we have a plan. That's we're going to sit down in the summer with all the stakeholders and we're going to come up with a future roadmap and looking at purchasing more ready-made and better experience. But we're definitely behind the manager, and we hate sacking managers mid-season, and it was a shame we had to do it for Maresca, and we're not going to do it again. And 48 hours later, womp.
Yeah. I'll be honest, as a United fan, I didn't think that, like, back in December, that we would be one of the only teams in, like, the top 6 or 7 that weren't in crisis at the moment. But that's because we were knocked out of everything early, so life is pretty smooth sailing for United fans right now.
Chelsea should have beaten Manchester United last week.
Oh,
I
I
was
should have.
listening.
Yeah,
I
they
was
should have.
listening to fan comments outside the stadium after, and a lot of Chelsea fans were like, "Oh, sure, we knew Manchester United would beat us. We can't score a goal unless Joe Pedro does something. We have nothing." And you're
Yeah.
like, actually, when their own fan base is like, "No, that's about how we expect it to go. We know we're better than Man United. We know we'll play better than them, but we can't score our goals if we don't have Joe Pedro." And you're like,
Mm-hmm.
"You've spent over $1 billion, and that's
Yeah.
how the fans look at the team. It's
Yeah. No, I
appalling."
watched it and we were terrible. United were honestly terrible. It's like, what do we have, about 30% of the ball or something? We had our XG was terrible. We had feck all opportunities. It was so bad. We didn't deserve to win that game, but I mean, Chelsea were not able to win it. So
I'll have my rant on Manchester United another day. It's
mm-hmm.
today. It's not the day for my Manchester United days rant, but like that's a team that was there for the taking, and you could see like I don't know. It's bad when you have like a player like Garnacho who's we're in April and he's removed all social media from his all Chelsea related stuff from his social media. He
Mm-hmm.
waited around after they got slapped around the place by Manchester United to hug and chat to some of his ex mates, and they walked past him. He was too busy. There's rumours that in the dressing room at half time, two of the lads in the Chelsea dressing room went for him. And they basically said things like, "You play for us, not them. Grow the fuck up." And he told them to go fuck themselves.
It's quite
Which
satisfying. It is quite satisfying. And I was a big fan of him at United. I thought that he was going to be a quality
he is
player,
the
and
attitude of a toddler. But this seems to
yeah.
be the Chelsea dressing room. Like, Kukure is a baby. As good as he is, Kukure is a baby.
Mm-hmm.
Chalobah, Fofana, Hato, they're all young centre backs. There's nobody with any experience in that back line.
Mm-hmm.
Their right back is their best player in Reece James when he's fit. In midfield, Caicedo and Enzo are the two most expensive midfielders behind Florian Wirtz ever purchased. Caicedo, where's he gone? Because I think in November under Maresca we were all saying, "Holy shit, this fella's finally going to be the player of the year that we expect him to be." He's vanished.
Yeah.
With the wingers, it's almost like a lucky dip as the attack of what. Like, did they want Liam Delap, or did they just buy him because other clubs were looking at him? Did they need Pedro Neto, Estevao, Gittins, Garnacho? Did they need any of those when they had arguably better beforehand? But no,
Yeah.
it seems to be, oh, I played FIFA once and I saw this fella do a skill move and now I want him. And that
Yeah.
seems to be. Did you?
Football manager.
And I'll get off the Chelsea thing in a second, but did you hear the Todd Bowley quote on his first summer in charge of Chelsea? Which
No.
just goes to show. So he was like, "I didn't know anything about football." Maria Granovskaya and the rest of the board of management of Chelsea obviously stepped away with the Abramovich thing because they had to. So I was the director of football. So how we purchased was once we heard Man City were interested, that's why they bought Mark Gray, because they heard City were interested. So they went and bought him. So they were basically waiting to see what other clubs were being
Yeah.
touted with big name players. And then they went, okay, well, if he's good enough to be touted at City, if he's good enough to be touted at Liverpool, if he's good enough to be touted by Bayern Munich, yeah, let's go get that one. No fucking plan. No, and now you're hiring managers to try put a team together from a team that was created with no fucking plan. And it shows.
Mm-hmm.
Ugh.
Yeah, again, like we said, the shock and ownership, and there's people who just don't have a clue or an iota about football, really.
I'm like, I there's a small piece of joy out of it because obviously I'm a Fulham fan and they're across the road, and I really hope they don't take our manager in the summer. But it's really nice to see them have a little bit of pain because they've had a lot of nice years and they've proven that they've cheated. And this is almost comeuppance for their cheating bullshit, by the way. And I will let this go. They didn't get a points deduction because the Bowley Group self-reported that Chelsea did some illegal ass shit in the last 10 years of the Abramovich era, where they paid wages off the books, they paid agents extra money to get deals done, they paid clubs in secondary transfers and stuff for this to get deals done, and they did some illegal ass shit. But the league went, "Oh, thanks for telling us. So we'll just give you a fine and a suspended fucking." So, like, not even a transfer ban, a suspended transfer ban. So, like, as a fan of a rival club, I'm like, "Do you know what? this is your comeuppance for being cheating bastards. So Chelsea, I really hope it gets worse for you before it gets better.
Yeah.
I'd rather see them in trouble than Spurs. I think that, you know what I mean?
Yeah, I mean, Spurs are just kind of pathetic, whereas like Chelsea are just very unlikable.
They're
Yeah,
just unlikable. They're
yeah,
unlikable, and it's a great way to put it. Anyway, I've had my rant. Chelsea, you're doomed.
yeah.
You're on to your third manager of the year. Who are you, Spurs in disguise? Go fuck yourself. But anyway, on to the worst run club probably in the Premier League, to the actually worst club in the Premier League. Wolves are done.
Yeah, 7 years. Is it 8 years at in the Premier League? They managed a lot of quality players come out of their squad. You had Cunha, you had a couple of players. I know that Liverpool picked up a couple of players from
Oh, I
there. I'm
have a
drawing a
list.
blank now.
Would you like to hear a list of players that Wolves have sold over the last few years?
Yeah.
Cool. Raul Jimenez, Diogo Jota, Ruben Neves, Mateus Cunha, Ryan Ait-Nouri, Marshall Munenetsi, Nelson Semedo, Pablo Sarabia, just to give you some of the...
And are they all academy players?
No. So they,
No, not a
basically
lot of
what
them.
they did when Wolves came up to the Premier League originally, right? So they had real big ties with Mendes, the super agent, Portuguese agent. That's how they got Ruben Neves. Wolves signed Ruben Neves in the Championship when the other bidder was Real Madrid,
Ooh,
by the way. Wolves
wow.
in the Championship got Ruben Neves over Real Madrid when they were in the champ because they were given assurances about being back in the Premier League. He'd be given the captaincy. You'll be more ready to make the step to Madrid. Now, obviously, he went to Saudi and stuff like this, but just to give you more context, right? So, in 2024, they signed Emmanuel Agdu, Nasser Giga, Marshall Munetsi, Rodrigo Gomez, and Sam Johnson. Only one of those players is still in the squad from a year ago. So, Agdu was sold to Besiktas last month. Munetsi and Giga were sent on loan in January. They bought nobody with Premier League experience, and their biggest signings over the last 2 years have been Krejci, who they got on loan from Girona, a fella David Muller-Wolf. Do you remember him? He's gone nowhere, and Jackson Chachua, who they signed for 45 million between them. So the money they have had, they've spent appallingly. We've said it before. Teams like Southampton, when they got used to selling a Bale, a Mane, and da. You keep selling your best assets year on year on year on year on year on year, and you keep purchasing hope to replace them. This is your comeuppance.
Yeah. Just like, and again, sacking managers, sacking like Nuno, that was just shouldn't have sacked him. Definitely not. He's a quality manager. Should never have sacked him. And just the lack of ambition from the owners as well. Like the manager or the owner, one of the owners, Jeff Shee, is actually on record saying fans also play an important role. If you only pursue trophies or consistent European football, Wolves might not be the ideal choice. I mean, who chooses? I didn't choose the team that I follow. I don't think you chose the team you follow. It just happened. So I don't know how. I don't know why I follow Manchester United. It just happened. And it's the same. It's the same with any Wolves fans. You're born in Wolverhampton, or you have some kind of connection to them. And to just make a quote like that, where it's just like, okay, well, if we're not going to be vying for trophies, or I mean, Crystal Palace won the FA Cup trophy. If Crystal Palace can win an FA Cup trophy, Wolves, if they're run and managed and do recruitment correctly, can go for an FA Cup trophy. Like, come on. Or even a Europa League trophy if they, managed to get into the Europa League. I know the Europa League came a couple of years ago and they were a serious downfall at that stage, but have some bit of ambition, and give players, good players, quality players, a reason to want to come to your club, But yeah, all in all, just poorly run club, like you said, poor player management, manager management, and yeah, they might find a second home in the Championship, and who knows, they might end up staying there for a while as well, because like we said, there's nothing to really encourage you to think that they're going to come straight back up to the Premier League. just even some of the players that they've had in the past, Portuguese right back, Portuguese midfield, Portuguese attack, Neto, like John said, Neto, Jota, Fabio Silva, you know, players who were going for World Cups, players who were going for European Championships. And to think that they're after going down now into the Championship themselves, it just goes to show the kind of lack of management that they've had over the past couple of years. But they've been dodging the relegation for the past 2 years or so, maybe the last 3 years or so. They've been really dodging. They've been in a bit of a battle, but the first half of the season up until Christmas was probably one of the worst performances. I actually think no, it wasn't it? It was some of the.
Apologies for the delay on my side.
Yeah, I was just saying, there was just entirely like up until Christmas or so. I think that Wolves had was
2
it
points.
7? Yeah, I think it actually was a record worst start or first 4 months or whatever it was to a season ever in the Premier League. To be able to actually have as many points as they have at the moment, actually, I suppose, is a little bit of a credit. They can say that they went down with some bit of a fight, but by the time they actually started performing a little bit better on the pitch, the damage is already done, really.
But this kind of happened last year as well. I got it in the neck from. I think you remember this. I got it in the neck from Wolves fans in the summer when I said they're going down and they're going down badly.
Mm-hmm.
They went on like a 7-game winning streak under Vitor Pereira, who's not Forest manager. The other 3 teams were already relegated when they went on their 7-game winning streak. So it was like, we can play when there's no pressure on our shoulders. And you've seen it this year when they were basically already dead and buried. It's almost like, we can go out with a free hit and go for the swing. They're not coming back up to the Premier League. Like their squad is about to get dismantled. Like, not that there's much there worth buying, but Andre, Joe Gomez, definitely going to go. The Tashua fella in defence is definitely going to go. Apart from that, is there anybody will want? Probably not. Like, definitely not. Like, the more you look at it, the worse it actually gets. And luckily for Spurs are about to play them when they're already confirmed down.
Yeah. And again, like I was saying, I don't think it's kind of relegation where they're going to come back up next season. I think actually a couple of years in the Championship will almost do them good. Because for the past 3, maybe 4 years, they actually have been in relegation battles. They've been kind of on the cusp, like they're about to get relegated. So just to be able to have a couple of years where they can actually fight for trophies and actually be winning matches on a regular basis might actually do them some good.
And I'm looking at who's like Joe Gomez and Andre. They're going to go in the summer. Angel Gomez will probably still be there. Hugo Bueno, Santiago Bueno will probably go in the summer. Matt Doherty will still be there. All the rest of the defenders will still be there. Meh. The goalkeepers, Jose Sa is going to retire. None of the others are going to get a contract anywhere. And then their centre forward is Adam Armstrong, who's a championship merchant. Like, the team just isn't good enough. The squad isn't good enough. They've been hired, like, as you said earlier, the worst thing they've done in recent history was sacking Nuno because they wanted to try progressive the team. This is what you get. You flew too close to the sun, you got your Icarus on, and you've been fucking burnt. And honestly, as a fan base, I look, maybe I'm biased because they gave me a load of shit in the summer. Turns out I was right. I'm not going to bask in it because I think Wolves are actually a good club. I know one of my favourite soccer coaches that I had growing up was an avid Wolves fan. Wouldn't wish that kind of heartache or pain on them. However, when you're seeing fans going, I've seen clips of, like, I don't know if you saw the clip earlier in the season where a fan actually approached Jose Sa in the car park and was like, "Why are you so shit?" He's like, "I'm the second choice goalkeeper. I haven't played this season. I don't know why you're screaming at me. Like, I'm training. We're all training. We're all doing the work. Maybe we're just not good enough. I don't know what to tell you here. I'm the sub goalkeeper. You're giving out to me as if I have some form of influence on." This was after a match where they got battered by 4-0. He was like, "I didn't even play. Why are you going at me?" Now, by the end of the interaction, the fan's like, "Actually, do you know what? Thanks for talking to me. Sorry for ripping your head off." And Jose Sa goes, "It's okay. I appreciate the feedback. I'm going to bring this back to the players and the manager, and hopefully we can make this better." They went on a better run. Like, the damage was already done. This was just a case of waiting. They're awful. And the only reason they haven't been relegated quicker is because the other team around them, who still have their manager, despite the fact I had him as the favourite to be sacked this year, Burnley under Scott Parker, they're abysmal. And the only reason Wolves weren't relegated earlier was because Burnley have almost been giving them hope by being as shit. I'll give you this. I'm going to give you a little stat on Wolves. They are the first team in English football history, definitely, but I think it was European, that haven't moved position in the league table all season. And it's the first time in football history in England that has happened. Where they started
the 20th the entire season.
Yeah, their first game of the season, they lost 4-0 to Wolves, or to Man City.
Oh my God.
They lost their first game of the season 4-0 to Man City. So they actually haven't moved from bottom from week one straight throughout the season. It's the first time in like the history of English football or something like that where the team hasn't moved position from the start of the season. You'd even think a goal difference or something that they would have been maybe 18th or 19th. Nope, they've been 20th since match week 1. So this has just been counting down the days. Like, they're not getting back out of the Championship or these doors. And I will mention this, that Leicester, obviously, after the relegation last year, have been relegated again. So this can go really badly wrong. Really, really, really. Burnley are going to go down now. They're going to get relegated tonight against Man City. They'll be back next year. You know what I mean? That's the Burnley method. Burnley are what Fulham were a decade ago, a yo-yo club. The team's too good for the Championship, nowhere near good enough for the Premier League. But as long as Scott Parker's their manager, they're going to go nowhere. Not biased or anything. Do you want to talk about the City juggernaut? The juggernaut that is Manchester City?
Yeah. We're top of the league there now in a few hours' time. We'll just talking about league positions. It will be first time in a very, very long time that Arsenal will be knocked off the top spot. Can't remember the last time that they were not on top in this season.
October. Spurs were actually on top, oddly enough.
Oh wow.
Spurs were the last. I think. Yeah, Spurs were the last team before Arsenal, I think, on top of the league this season. When they had just won like their first 6 on the bounce under Thomas Frank. So 6 games into the season is the last time Arsenal were the team on top. Honestly, for Arsenal.
Yeah.
I'm not happy about City winning it, but it's at least palatable.
Yeah, but I mean, if there's any team that you do want to win the league, in my opinion, it's City because they'll always have that little asterisk next to it, you know.
Yeah.
But yeah, they'll be knocking Burnley out of the Premier League tonight, and they'll go first in the Premier League, and from there, they just gotta do what they always do around this time of the season and just keep bloody winning matches. Just put Arsenal under serious pressure, and like you said a few weeks ago, you know, when City play the week before Arsenal play in the game week, Arsenal kind of do their thing that they're best at and just bottle it.
You can see this. I'm happy about City winning because they're actually the team with the lowest amount of goals from set pieces. So 10% of their goals come from set pieces. Where on the flip side of that, Newcastle is 50%, Palace is like 43%, and Arsenal are up around 37% of the top. So the fact that the team that aren't playing this NFL style set piece football, Jerky is a joy to watch. He's like a throwback to an actual, vibing footballer who just play. Like his goal against Arsenal at the weekend.
Was unreal.
But you don't see that anymore from players.
No.
You see it from Spanish teams once in a while from their wingers. Semenyo, joy to watch. Bernardo Silva and John Stones about to tack it in. They're both leaving in the summer. Confirmed John Stones earlier today. I think the only team in better form than in the league right now is Brighton. Not that Brighton are going to be able to maintain that, but the only team better form than them right now in the league is Brighton.
Yeah. It's the thing about them. They just do it they're so consistent every single season. They just put go into fifth gear and they just say, all right, let's fucking win this thing. When other teams are starting to tire out and get a bit fatigued, City just I don't know what they're being fed in that canteen, but Jesus, they're just able to keep up the form and the pace and the energy. I suppose it's when you have so many quality players and you have a bench of starting 11 players as well, it probably helps. And then you've got Arsenal who just, Saka is out injured now, and you have Gyökeres who obviously just isn't able to do the business for them, and Like, I don't. Does City deal with many injuries? I don't think they do. I think they have a full healthy squad, as
No,
far as I know.
they were missing Ruben Diaz for large chunks of the season. They were missing Guardiola for most of the season if he's not still
Mm.
injured. They were missing Rodri for large. Like, I find City fascinating because if you actually watch the trend over last year, Haaland has done fuck all since January.
Mm-hmm.
That's 2 years on the bounce. So even though he's
Yeah.
going to finish as the Golden Boot winner again, he does the
Mm-hmm.
brunt of his work in the first half of the season. And then it's almost like as the team clicks into gear and everybody else panics about Erling Haaland, goes, we need to mark the cyborg. It's like Semenyo pops up and Shirky pops up and Daku pops up and go, cool. If
Yeah.
you're going to go and mark him, I'm just going to run and play in this space. Jerky, Semenyo and Gahey are the two signings of the season.
Yeah. That.
Like
The
Gahey
difference
signing
that they
generally
made.
has been the most transformational signing for Man City. Because you wouldn't have
Mm-hmm.
thought the centre back from Crystal Palace, you could say that. But he's their next
Mm-hmm.
captain.
Yeah, yeah. But like you get like even you look at the impact that like Kyle Walker had on the team, like like they it just goes to show that what like a quality defender, the impact it can have on the team, and like Gahey is that not new next or the new Kyle Walker, but he's that defender and Guardiola as well. So Guardiola can score about like 7 goals last season or something like that.
Nico
So that
Riley as well.
when you have defenders who can attack like their defenders do, and you've then got midfielders and fucking strikers who can attack if it's what
Oh,
chance
their
do they have?
attacking talent is scandalous.
Yeah.
Oh, Haaland's having a bad day. Marmouche. Oh,
Mm-hmm.
Jerky's having a bad day. Phil Foden, fill your boots. Semenyo, you're
Yeah.
having a bad day. Okay, Savinho, go in.
Mm-hmm.
But I think the big one is what I have to say I give respect to certain things. He's not afraid to throw if he thinks there's a youth player who has it, he'll put
Mm-hmm.
him in like Nico Riley.
Yeah.
Like he's done it with Rico Lewis or your man. Is it Rico Lewis as well? Rico Lewis,
Yeah.
put him in until he got his injuries. Oscar Bob, same last year. He was in the first team until he got his long-term injury. Nico Riley this year, he's got, okay, I reckon you're good enough. I'm going to play at left back, even though you're a centre midfielder. If you want to play for me, you'll play at left back. And he's young, Premier League Young Player of the Year, probably. I think if
Yeah.
you're naming
Yeah.
Player of the Year, you're naming Bruno. If you're naming
Yeah.
Young Player of the Year, it's probably Nico Riley. I can't see who else.
Yeah. Yeah. And what are you to do it too? He's definitely going to the World Cup. Like if he doesn't go, it'll be shocking. Yeah.
Yeah. So,
That's quality.
City are going to win the league?
I think so. I think
City are
so.
going to win the league.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. So that's football this week. Chelsea are in the bin. Wolves have already been in the bin, and City are going to lift it all. So I suppose speaking of that, let's look at the weekend match week 34 fixtures because we have a bunch of teams not playing this weekend because of the FA Cup quarterfinals. So all the teams that are doing a double this week. So everybody would have known this week's double game week. You would have probably been stacking on Brighton, stacking on Bournemouth, stacking on City with Leeds, Burnley, and who was the other one? Leeds, Burnley, Wolves. Yeah.
Yeah.
And then being the other ones, like whatever. So you're probably stacking your deck. So next week's or the weekend's match fixtures we've got. Let's run them and give me your thoughts and picks. So the Friday night kickoff is Sunderland first.
Sunderland, I think. Yeah, even though Forest won 4-1 there the other day, and who was it? Gibbs White? Who got the hat trick?
Morgan Gibbs White.
Gibbs White, yeah, and like really, really good game for them. But yeah, Sunderland, I just fancy them. Although at the same time, Sunderland are on holidays, they have nothing to really play for.
They're still at home, though. They've only lost 2 games at home all season.
Yeah, nothing for us. There's still that like risk of relegation. I could see a draw. I could see them being a draw.
I like that. Asset-wise, who are you looking at, though? This is the problem.
Do you know what? I'll go Gibbs White just because he got the hat trick. If I could just go.
I'm going to go with the Sunderland.
Going for. Okay, yeah.
I'm going to go with him because I think Forest are the type of team.
So Sunderland do have Europa League and technically fucking Europa and the Conference League there, so they do have something to play for, I guess. Yeah. So
first year back in the Premier League to get into Europe would be massive. I'm going to go with Mukiele as my pick for this match. Forest style of play screams lots of balls into the box. So the really big centre back who loves smashing balls.
Yeah.
It's the same reason why when certain teams are playing Everton, I'll go with James Tarkowski. Mukiele, he's got the long throw. He's an animal in both boxes. And Chris Wood is back fit, which means Forest are going to be putting lots of balls in that box. So if you're looking for defensive action points, I'm going the same as you, probably a score draw. But I'm going to go with your man because I think he's going to be busy. Morgan Gibbs White is also a fantastic shout, given he's a one-man wrecking ball there. Next up, Fulham at home to Villa.
Yeah, Fulham Villa. God, I don't really know how to call that one. That could be another draw. Both of them are in pretty average enough form. They're not going on major runs. They win in one week, they could lose the next.
The Fulham Brentford game last week might have been the worst game of football I've watched all season.
I won't be putting it into my queue line, I'll put it that way. Harry Wilson, I suppose, maybe go with.
I'm going to lean on a Fulham win on this one solely because they're at home. Fulham at home are very, very good. They're like sixth in the table for home form. They're bottom 4 for away form all season. So where they're at in the table is solely based on their form at the Cottage. So I actually think they'll get a. As you said, Villa have been sliding. Fulham have also been sliding a little bit. But I'm going to go for Fulham on this one solely because they're at home. And I'm probably the same as you. I'd be looking at Morgan Rogers and Harry Wilson as the two assets there. There's going to be goals on both sides. It's going to be a 2-1. It's going to be a 2-2. It's going to be a 1-2. Whatever way it lands, I think you're looking at plus 2 goals anyway. And whichever way the result goes, I don't know. But I'm leaning on Fulham solely because of their home form. Liverpool Palace.
Liverpool Palace, God.
It's not a great match week, is it?
No, it's not. I mean, like, I want to say Liverpool, but again, just the way things are going with Slot and Pooh at the moment, I really feel like there could be a sacking in his future, even though the board did say that. See, Ekitike is out as well.
Isaac is back.
Isaac is back as doing feck all. God.
I don't know.
What do you think?
I think Liverpool.
I'm just going to go with Liverpool because they're at home. I'm going to
go Liverpool because they're in Anfield. But the asset I'm going to pick for this game is going to be Jean-Philippe Mateta. He scores in streaks. He's now scored 3 in the last 4 since he's been back. He's playing for his seat on the plane at the World Cup to be the guy behind Mbappe. Now that Ekitike's out, he's competing for that spot. He's been in the last few squads. He got that surgery done in order to be back for the World Cup. I just think he's in that pocket of form of going to Didier Deschamps going, hey, buddy, it's time to bring me. So I'm going Liverpool win. But I think having watched Virgil van Dijk over the last month or last 2 or 3 months, the strikers that tend to be getting change off of him are the bullying type strikers, and Mateta fits that mold where he's just going to pin his back to him and go, fight me, bitch. So I'm going Mateta as the asset, but Liverpool to win.
Okay, okay. Just because you picked a Palace player, I'll just go with Liverpool player. I don't see, Malta has been in terrible form this season. He scored last week. I don't see him doing it again this week. I'm going to go with, if he starts, Cody Gakpo. I think that Liverpool will get a goal past Palace, and now that Ekitike is out, I think Gakpo will get on the bench, and like you said, he's going to be trying to get into that Dutch squad. So I'm going to say Cody Gakpo.
Nice. I like that pick. I think there's something screaming at me going, the Mo Salah retirement tour the next 5 weeks is the Mo Salah retirement tour. So if he's going to light it up, it won't be against Palace, it'll be against Manchester United the week after at Old Trafford, where he does one last dance. Next up, West Ham versus Everton.
So
that's an impossible game to call.
Yeah, West Ham, are they, how far are they about relegation zone? So they are 2 points ahead of Spurs. Everton on 10th, they're 3 points off, 1 point off the conference, 3 points off of Europa. West Ham are such a strange one because they do win games. I mean, they've scored like 40 goals this season.
No, a lot of that is since Tati Castellanos and Pablo. I mean, their form isn't terrible. It's win, draw, loss, win, draw. So they're probably due their loss if you're looking at their form chart. I'm going Everton. I think the Premier League fucking gods are going to scream, we're keeping this relegation battle very, very close until the final day. So I think West Ham are going to lose. I think Beto's in the best form he's been in since he's been at Everton. I think he's got 4-6 or 4-7 now. I'm going for Beto as my asset there. And then outside of Beto, James Tarkowski, because again, West Ham are going to try more of attrition, try to get. And on the West Ham side, it's Castellanos, Teti Castellanos as my asset. That's it for me.
Yeah, I was going to say Tarkowski as well. Is probably one of the highest points scored fantasy or defender of the season so far. He's having a great season. Could get picked up in the summer transfer window, who knows? But yeah, I fancy Tarkowski as well.
I like it. We're on the same page a lot.
Although he's 33 years old, actually, he's not going to pick up.
He's Everton until he retires.
Yeah.
Speaking of the relegation battle being tight as nuts, the next game up is Wolves versus Spurs. An already relegated free hit Wolves at home.
Yeah, that's like, like it could be a fucking scrappy one, or it could just be a complete dead rubber. I just can't go with any fucking Spurs players. I just can't. They're complete shambles. No players. Well, actually, do you want maybe Xavi Simons? He scored 2 last week. And he is probably one of the only Spurs players who's actually shown any bit of drive and emotion at the moment. After who was scored last week against them in the last minute? Brighton scored in the last minute. You know,
absolutely shit pants in the.
I think he might. I think he might go out and play his heart out. He might net a goal. I'm gonna go with Xavi Simons. Fuck it.
I like that.
But just the fact that they haven't scored won a game in 2026 yet, I just can't.
It's the last week of fucking April, like.
I just can't. I can't. There's nothing in me that can say Spurs are going to win this game. And like you said, Wolves have nothing to play for.
It's almost like we're sorry to their fans. So either the place is rocking, so they're trying to get life back into it, or it's going to be like a morgue. I'm going for Spurs. My picks for it are going to be my picks for this are probably Pedro Porro and probably Simmons. I can't see if I'd be telling Colomuani. I've had plenty of rants about them. I don't rate either of them. Richarlison does bits at times. Yeah, Pedro Porro is probably the standout for me.
Yeah.
Ooh, sneaky little one for you. James Madison. He was back on the bench.
He's back. Yeah.
Back on the bench. I'm going to go Spurs winning James Madison. That's my shot in the dark pick for the weekend.
That's right.
The half 5 kick. Arsenal at home to Newcastle.
God, is it my heart and my head that I'm going with? But I don't know. I feel like Newcastle could really, really stick the knife in and really twist it and pull out a win against Arsenal.
So bad on the road this season.
Yeah, they have been, but I don't know. A draw. I'm just going to say a draw. I don't think that they have enough in them to win, but it's just Arsenal on that bottlers tour now at the moment. They're going to be pretty low in confidence. And our City aren't playing.
No, they have FA Cup actually.
They have FA Cup, but they're playing tonight. But that Saka's also out of the squad, which is a massive loss for Arsenal. He was out last week. I
think it actually is better. I actually think that suits Arsenal at the minute because it gets Noni Madueke on the pitch.
Yeah.
He's my pick for this game, by the way. Is
exactly.
Just to get that one out of the way. My pick for this game is Noni Madueke.
Okay.
He's one of Arsenal's better players when he's actually played this season. He's going to take his opportunity with Saka being out. He has already. For me, he's been better than Saka, but Saka has to play.
Yeah, I'm gonna just go completely shot in the dark. I'm just gonna say, because you went with Arsenal, and go for the crack and say Wolves made it at Newcastle 2. Big set piece, big man in the box, big header to net a goal against Arsenal, and particularly draw. Wolves.
Ooh, that's a big show.
Yeah, it is a big show, but
big show.
For
that though. I feel like the other options are Malik Thiaw and Gabriel, the two giant centre backs who are going to be basically marking each other for every corner. So that's going to be fun to watch.
Mm.
And then the final game of the weekend, Dean, this is going to upset you, but Manchester United at home to Brentford.
Is that Monday Night Football again, or is it on Sunday?
Monday Night Football again, and Monday Night Football has not been Manchester United's friend this year.
No, it hasn't. I don't know, what kind of form are Brentford in? I mean, United aren't in the best form, but
they're not bad. Man United's form is last win, draw, last win. It's not terrible. Brentford's form is 6 straight draws.
6 straight draws, wow. That's mad. But as well, Igor Thiago, I think he's about 2 goals off of Haaland, trying to get the golden boot this season. I'm pretty sure he's got his slot wrapped up in the Brazil squad for the World Cup.
Brentford have also caused Manchester United an awful lot of problems since they've been back in the Premier League. I'm pinning on a Brentford win. Man United aren't good at Monday Night Football. Brentford don't travel well, but Monday Night Football is kind of like the early kickoff. Never back it. As you said, the Igor Thiago thing. It just screams to me of the type of game Man United rock up after seeing everybody else over the weekend and go, okay, we need a point to definitely be sure of staying in where we are, because performances under Michael Carrick, and I'm going to mini rant, performances under Michael Carrick have been shit. Performances under Amram were better, but the results weren't. This is the difference between a manager who's working off a long-term plan going, we'll suffer now for success later, versus Michael Carrick going, we just need to get over the line. And they just keep finding a way to get over the line. But that's not a recipe for long-term success. Leeds battered them. Newcastle with 10 men battered them. Chelsea, if they had someone on the pitch competent to goal scoring, would have also battered them. I don't think Manchester United should be looking at Carrick as the manager. I'm going for a Brentford win here, and I'm going Igor Thiago.
Yeah, I think I'm actually going to agree with you. I think Brentford might win. I think that they've got up front what Chelsea were lacking during the week, and Maguire is still out for this match as well, I think. So you're kind of like relying on Aiden Heaven in the centre back position with who was it? Martinez, who isn't playing his best football at the moment. I feel like Igor will be able to get through him and net a goal, if not maybe even 2. Yeah, I'm going to go Brentford. 2-1 Brentford, I think. Igor Thiago, 2 goals.
And the other obviously being a Bruno, a goaler, isn't it?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Bruno is 2 assists off the record, by the way.
Yeah.
I think, do we deep dive on that next week? Let's deep dive on the Manchester United situation next week. I think next week's a good time to talk about the Manchester United situation. But Dean, I think that's about it for tonight.
Yeah. I think we've covered it all. Everything that we need to cover. Yeah, as always.
You sound so happy to get rid of me. So, bye!
Farewell.